Kate Kennell joins us. Kate is a senior solicitor at Fairweather. They specialise in medical negligence. Kate, thank you for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Have you heard of something that has affected or potentially affected so many patients that went on for so long? Is this a unique scenario?
I think it is quite a unique scenario. I mean, it seems that it's been going on since 2009, and although it was spotted in January, it's only come to light and be made public yesterday. So, I mean, the numbers involved are massive. Up to 450,000 women are affected. And so it's something which is quite unique in that regard, yes.
From your point of view as a solicitor, what action do you think might follow, legal or otherwise, for the women affected? We've got potentially 270 women who may have died or had their lives cut short. Yeah. So that's one set and the most extreme scenario. But another whole range of women who will be extremely anxious and troubled by this, and there may be further implications. What with your experience of working in the area of medical negligence, what potentially could happen next?
Well, I think it's important that if a member of a family or you yourself have been affected by a failure to receive an appointment for breast screening, and that's caused anxiety, or there's been a delay in a diagnosis of the breast cancer, it's important to seek legal advice about it. We are a specialist team at Fairweathers. We have experience of dealing with claims of this nature. So I think that if anybody feels like they have been affected, it's important to seek legal advice regarding it.
A lot of people don't want... For a lot of people, it's more about putting the situation right, and that may not include legal action. Women have got to decide, and families have got to decide, presumably, in the first instance, these women need to be contacted quickly and offered a resolution quickly, don't they? That is the bare minimum, presumably, that should happen.
Yes, yeah. I mean, as I understand it, that is what has been suggested, that all women affected will be contacted by letter by the end of May. I think that women that are under 72 years of age will receive a catch-up appointment. And as you say, there's a helpline that's being set up. I think Jeremy Hunt is talking about an independent inquiry as well being set up to look into why it happened in the first place and to avoid anything like this happening in the future.
All of this, of course, touches women who are aged between 50 and 70, roughly. Yes. That's the group that are offered routine screening, and it came in the late 1980s. And it will affect a group who were, due for a screening in a particular decade. It's quite a lot of people, obviously.
It is, yeah.
But you can speak from experience about a whole subset of women for whom this breast screening isn't available, and yet there are obviously breast health issues. What can you tell us from your own experience?
Yeah, well, I can speak from a legal perspective and a personal perspective because I've had breast cancer. I've been through the whole journey in relation to the treatment, and so I can completely recognise the importance of early detection and having life-saving treatment. I mean, essentially, the quicker you're diagnosed, the better the prognosis and more likely the treatment will be successful. And I think it's important to look at statistics here because 48,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer per year, and 11,000 women die from breast cancer per year. So the issue concerning having an effective breast screening programme is extremely important in avoiding any unnecessary deaths.
You were under 50 when you were diagnosed with breast cancer. So presumably it was up until we're 50, it's up to us, isn't it, to be the screening process?
It is. It's all self-detection before 50. It's only after 50. I understand that there is a trial which is to try and reduce the age from 50 to 47, but that's only a trial at the moment.
So did you just find a lump? Do you mind me asking about how you...
No, I don't mind. I don't mind you asking. I found a lump and I went to see my GP, and there is a rapid referral for 2 weeks. And you would then have a mammogram. I had a mammogram and I had surgery, and I had chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So I think from a personal perspective, all the clinical team tell you that it's very important that you're seen straight away, that you have the treatment as early as possible. And the emphasis is all on early detection, early treatment. And so in order to ensure that your prognosis is as positive as it could be, you need to have these early detection screening programs in place.
Do you think that the age of 50 is too old? Do you think that's an appropriate age? Perhaps your breast cancer would have been picked up before you could even feel the lump if it was offered to younger women.
Well, as I understand it, about 80% of breast cancers are detected from the age of 50 upwards. 20% are detected below that. So I guess it's a matter of costings, isn't it, and whether or not they should extend it to lower than the age of 50. As you get older, from the age of 50 onwards, the risk of breast cancer increases, and I think that's why it's very important in relation to the what's happened in relation to the breast screening.
As well as the mistake, this terrible mistake that's happened, we also know that breast cancer screening is at its lowest level in 10 years, and only 70% of those women who are offered routine screening are taking it up. What's your message to those women?
I would say be vigilant, it's very important to self-examine. I would say do take up the appointments, because it's only when you're diagnosed that the effective treatment can start. And as I said already, in terms of the prognosis and how successful the treatment will be, the earlier it's detected, the earlier you are diagnosed, the more the better the prognosis will be.